Go. So how's it going, man? What's up?
Good. What's up with you in Phoenix?
I'm about to start turning on the air conditioning. It's like getting real hot right now. We're starting to have our first like few hot days. I'm like starting to sweat.
It was raining here a few days ago.
Oh
So
yeah, where are you again? Are you on the West
I'm
Coast?
in Los Angeles.
Oh, LA. Okay, cool. Like Pasadena, actual LA proper, or what? Like,
Um, North San Fernando Valley.
okay, cool. Oh, nice. Yeah, so you're not too far away.
Well, I mean,
Six
what is it?
hours?
I thought it's a bit more, but might be around there. Yeah.
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 It's like it takes me. Last time I did LA, it took me like 6 hours to get there. I think maybe six and a half. I don't know. It's not too bad though. I live right by the highway though too, so it's actually
So I don't know if you're coming on the Bridges of Meaning fishing trip or not, but uh, I'm gonna be driving all the way to Arkansas in July, and I'm planning on stopping on the way and saying hi to people. So I
oh
might
nice.
stop
Yeah,
by Phoenix.
yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. I like that. I probably won't go to the fishing trip because in order for me to go, I'd probably have to convince Sarah to want to go because I have limited vacation like getaway time, and pretty much I have to have
I'm
to do it with her.
surprised. I thought it would just be like three or four of us, and I'm surprised how many people have said they're coming. There's at least like five or six people. Yeah, there's at least six people who said they're coming. Arkansas is remarkably central. I didn't realize how central Arkansas really
Oh
is.
yeah, from the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. It is like pretty much close, right in the center. Does somebody live in Arkansas? Why Arkansas? Like,
Charlie lives in our Pastor Charlie. He
oh,
lives in Arkansas, and he knows the area, and yeah, yeah. So we thought about going hunting, but um I my work, like I do 90% of my work in November, and that's hunting season.
mm,
So we decided to go fishing instead.
okay. Wait. What do you use that during hunting season? That's when you do your work?
I am an insurance broker, and Medicare open enrollment is in November, and
Uh,
Obamacare open enrollment is in November. So like that's my busy time of the year.
okay, cool. I'm gonna get a water, get a drink real quick. Hold on a second. Get me a fizzy water, mix it with some lemonade.
That
I want to
looks
leave.
good.
Hold on one second. I want to leave. What, like 6 o'clock? 5:30, 6 o'clock, something around there? 5:30 or 6? We gotta pick up the stuff for the burgers. We gotta get like the buns and all that stuff. So what do you think? Like, do you think 6 will be fine? Probably. Okay. Yeah. Let's do 6. All right. Yeah, I'm grilling for everybody today. I'm getting together with my like Jordan Peterson group kind of circle, and Cassidy's gonna be hanging out with us in person for the first time.
Cool.
So, so I'm
Yeah,
getting.
that's actually what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah, go ahead. Let's jump into it.
So, I mean, I was thinking, I was listening to Jordan Peterson talk to somebody, I forget who exactly it was, but he was talking about how, um, he's trying to do the most that he can. I was thinking, you know what? We kind of need something more grassroots-ish, right? For people to you know, get to connect with each other. And Paul's Paul's trying to do that through like the church and estuary stuff, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, that's nice, but it seems to me that we need some sort of fraternal organization. And I remembered, so when I was young, I was a DMOA very briefly, and I remembered that you're into Freemasonry,
Mhm.
and I was thinking that, a similar type of structure, fraternal organization. Um, my the only hesitance I have is because we have so many Catholics and so many people through Paul who are part of the CRC. Both of those look down on joining Freemasonry.
Mhm.
So I didn't want it to be something that people had religious qualms about, but I also didn't want it to be something religious that people who aren't religious, because a lot of Jordan Peterson fans aren't religious and they don't have a religious community, right? So having something that's like just a general, I even thought it could be kind of like an Alcoholics Anonymous type thing,
Mhm.
you know, just just a support group for, and I think I really do think it needs to be for men. I think it needs to be gendered. Um, like a male support group, and different people have tried stuff like that, but I really don't see, like, I know that that channel, I think with Dave Fuller, they have something going on in England that's
Mm.
kind of similar. They have like a men's group. Um, but yeah, I thought, having an actual social, like a kind of a fraternity, where people, we try to support each other in improving our lives,
Mhm.
uh, and while the Jordan Peterson meetups are nice, I thought, having a men's support group, especially, I thought possibly even kind of being, maybe a little bit involved with either martial arts or
Mm.
self-defense, you know,
Yeah.
uh, something that's minorly physical, right? Or even hiking or something, right? Just or a fitness club.
Yeah.
Um, and hopefully things are going to start opening up soon, and people are going to want to be getting out there, talking to people, and doing things together. And I just thought this was the perfect time to try to start something that isn't necessarily religious, is um is men only, and is focused on um, honest relationships with people who want the best for you,
Mhm.
right? Because that Jordan Peterson idea of speaking truth, um, and being happy for other people and trying to improve things, and you know a lot of those rules, and I didn't want it to be specifically Jordan Peterson,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So I didn't really know how to frame it, and I talked to a couple of people, but I thought, you know what, the person to talk to is Anthony. No, I'm serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got something I wanna know if you heard of this. I'm put it in the chat real quick. Look at this, and then so, like, that's one of the things that I discovered while I was trying to figure out some of the things that you were talking about. And I don't know how close it is to what you're describing, but it seems to be this thing where it's not Freemasonry, but it
Mhm.
is attempting to do a lot of the stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah, I looked at the Odd Fellows.
Mm,
Um,
that's another
I,
one.
yeah, I thought that was interesting. I looked at the Elks.
Mhm.
I thought about looking at. I haven't done all the research yet. Um, yeah,
The
it,
Oddfellows is a good one to me. That one was pretty cool. Did you have
yeah.
what did you think about that, or what was your impression about the Oddfellows?
Well, the Odd Fellows until the '70s didn't allow black people.
Oh yeah, of course we could change that.
And that was like, that's pretty late, you
Yeah.
know. That's the 70s already, you know, and apparently even after that they were a bit like, and so yeah, I mean, a lot of these organizations started in the 1700s and 1800s, right? And they were kind of like this mutual insurance thing. A lot of them turned into insurance companies, and like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, not what I'm looking into. I, you know, I actually think possibly the best thing might be actually some sort of fitness or self-defense,
Hmm.
you know. And as far as the organization, have a similar organization to, you know, any of these with local chapters, right? And you have like the Grand Lodge or whatever, you have the national sponsoring organization, and not make it too formal. I think it's important actually to like, this is actually something that Paul taught me, like, to let things percolate, right? So just, I mean, I thought maybe start a Discord server, a website with, you know, a forum, right? And then a few of us that we already know each other could maybe start a few chapters, right? And then um, see what interest, because like the German guys, they've already pretty much, there's a German group, right? So I think they could definitely do a chapter, maybe, you know, something southwestish for us.
You talking about the German guys in our Discord server?
Yeah, yeah.
They already have one going.
Well, they don't have a group going. They have, but they have a weekly German chat, and they've met up, or I think they're planning on meeting up. And they, because I mean, in Europe it's pretty easy to travel, right? And all of
Right.
them are in that same area. I think they had a meetup at like in Frankfurt or something. um so I mean, I think we could definitely, or just see where it goes, but something, because I just saw too much standing in the way of people who aren't religious to get involved with estuary, right?
Mm.
And I don't want to, put that on people. And yeah, and then the meetup groups, I think they're actually too informal, right?
Hmm.
People show up, people don't show up, like, and and I like the idea of having it be kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous, where you don't talk about what goes on in the group, outside the group, so people have a safe space,
Hmm.
right, to speak to each other. We keep the list of the members between us, right? And um, and I think, you know, maybe possibly open it up membership, but not like to just anybody,
Right.
but actually get to know people before you let them in,
Would you have like
right?
a ballot option? Like to people would be balloted on?
Maybe, I mean, but at the very least, like, before somebody's let into the group, actually getting to know who that person is, right?
Hmm.
Like, maybe a vetting committee or something, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
Uh, because I've seen other organizations like that. Um, but and then asking people for a sort of firm commitment. Like, I definitely think it should be a dues organization. If you're not willing to put $50 down, you know, it's, then I think you know, it's if you can't put the price of a book in, right? You're 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 not going to be serious about it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Would you so would you have like a financial commitment, and then would you have like a attendance commitment too?
yeah, I mean, the thing is, the financial commitment usually makes
Makes
for
the
the attendance
it
commitment.
makes
You know
the
what I mean?
yeah.
Like if you're paying for it, especially, I mean, I don't know how much what we're thinking of, but like, let's say you make it $10 a month. If you're not coming every month, you're gonna stop paying that $10,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
And if you want to pay your $10 and not come, I guess I'll take your money, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, I've seen various organizations that have similar things, and having a subscription. Look, um, and I would totally be willing to, waive it if somebody's on hard times, who's actually like been involved for a while,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Um, or something like that.
Or suspend
And
it.
actually, you know what? As far as where the money goes, I'm thinking it should actually go in case one of the brothers,
Relief.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
needs something, right? There's um even if it's like a free loan type thing, you know. Um, but it's yeah, having some sort of association where we make a commitment to help each other, to, you know, try to better ourselves. I actually, the more I think about it, the more like the self-defense martial art type thing makes more sense to me,
Hmm.
right? And like, I don't know any martial arts. I'm not really into that type of stuff, but I just thought it makes a lot of sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
uh, just getting to know people, having an activity, having it be like a physical activity
Yeah.
as opposed to just sitting around and talking, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, what are you thinking?
I I'm thinking I've thought of a lot of these things that you're saying, and I share a lot of these the sentiment that you're putting out. Um, the self like for the self defense, like I would love that. I guess I was just held back as how many people would be willing to do that type of stuff. So that's the part that I'm not sure. Like I would like it, but I don't know how many people would be into it. I was also on the physical type of activity. I was thinking like one of the ideas that I heard is like cool. It's like doing like um restoration of a thing. Like so, let's say you have a old piano and you can do like a project where we restore it, or old car, like to restore a car and we work together. That'd be some dope shit. And then we can.
Beautify your room type thing.
Oh
uh,
yeah, we could go in like yeah, beautify a room, interior design type or whatever. Like we can do like that, or like just that type of stuff. You know.
well, Habitat for Humanity is something similar, right? So I mean, I guess the the real theme there is improvement, right?
Mhm.
And health, being healthy in mind, in body, and in your associations with other people,
Yeah.
right? Your community, right? A healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy community, right? Those three things go together,
Hmm.
right? Um, and people just making a commitment to, you know what, we're gonna. I mean, I I guess at the beginning it would be either once every 3 months or maybe even once a month of um, make a commitment once a month, spending an hour or two, probably like on a weeknight, right? Um, getting together with your brothers and working on improving some aspect of either yourself or each other
Hmm.
or our community, and um yeah, and making a commitment to that.
Hmm. No, I think that's a good idea. Like, so it's funny because actually the reason why I even became a Mason, the reason why I'm in Phoenix is because I was a part of a young entrepreneurs fraternity. And the guy who started it, I think his uncle or grandpa, somebody in his family was a Mason. And
Hmm.
so he kind of based the fraternity off of like some of the stuff that like he studied with how to create a fraternity and then stuff passed on to him from his dad. And that's how I got first involved. And then um that group was from 18 to 30, right? And I'm like 34 now, so this was like I was aging out of that group and I wanted to continue. And I got to experience like what you're talking about, where you know you're getting together and we'll have something like a rebuke session where you actually like tell like somebody else in the group like what they can improve on, like, hey, you could do better at greeting or giving gifts. And we did practice, we did rituals where we like focus on trying to like give the best gift. You had be assigned to somebody, try to give them the best gift you can come up with, and try to cultivate the skill of gift giving and the skill of like meeting each other. We would have sessions, we come together and you would like direct us like, okay, so now you go over this group, go over here, and then we would like introduce each other and you would like critique like, oh, stand up more straight, look them in the eye, more firm handshake, and then do different stuff like that. And so that was like kind of a thing that I was involved in. And that reminds me of this, and of course Freemasonry as well. um I guess, do you know of other people like, so like obviously I'm interested in this type of thing, you're interested in this. Do you know of other people who are currently in the server who are also interested in this type of thing?
Yeah, I talked to a couple of people about it. I don't want to name names, but
Mhm,
um, I think it's something that people generally are very interested in. I even thought that possibly a good idea would be, instead of starting your own thing, like looking into something that already exists and kind of trying to, adapt that for your purposes. Um, Especially if one of these groups would like to kind of, I don't know. I tried doing a tiny bit of research and seeing things that maybe have enough of a similar goal that, you know, if a few of us want to join and say, hey, you know what, we'll join you. It sounds like you guys are doing the same things we want to do. And but yeah, I wasn't able to find anything. Like, the first thing I looked at was the rules, right? And a lot of these organizations have a religious component, which I like personally,
mhm,
but I, I think I think it's not something that we can necessarily do, right? I don't think that's something. Um, I A lot of them have become egalitarian over the years.
mhm,
Um, and I think this issue of sex is and bonding is important.
mhm,
And um, I think part of the problem we have as a society right now is that men are not teaching men to be men,
yeah,
right? And being a man is different from being a woman. And like, w- I see it with a lot of people, family, friends. Um, they're especially younger ones, like people in their 20s and stuff. A lot of them have received zero guidance in how to be a man. Um, and that's really harmful for them and for their relationships, right? Um, and I keep on thinking of that quote from Jordan Peterson. If you think strong men are scary, wait until you see what a weak man can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a paraphrase. I don't know if that's the exact words, but yeah, the idea, like, yeah, weak men, and even with the recent news in Atlanta and stuff, it's like,
Mm.
yeah, we're we're we seem to be coming apart as a society, and I think part of that is because, I mean, I've been listening to Jordan Peterson's recent interviews, and he talks about how men aren't getting encouragement.
Yeah.
They're Yeah, and I was talking to some of the people on the server about how people have become disposable. Like, this is something that the Catholic Church has been talking a lot about, how we have this idea of disposable human beings, right? The sacredness of the individual human life really isn't there. And a lot of people feel like, oh, well, if only those people would die, right? Life would be better.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
And people really have started thinking this way, is like, oh, well, life would be better if those people would die, right? And um yeah, I just thought there's something we should be able to do. And part of the problem is, um, most people don't know how to channel their energies into something, right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these Discord servers and stuff, people come in and they want to contribute, but they don't know how to contribute. And
Mm.
there's no opportunity to contribute, right?
Right.
And I just think that's so important, that we find a way of harnessing that, so people, you know and honestly, when you help someone else, it helps you,
Right.
right? You oftentimes, it's one of the funny, it's from his previous book, right? Treat yourself like somebody, uh you are responsible for helping,
Right.
right? And people find it so much easier to help someone else.
Yeah.
And then in helping other people, I think you oftentimes see for yourself what you could improve in yourself.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting because I'm thinking about what you just said with people come to the Discord server and then they want to contribute but they don't know how. That's a I haven't thought of that. Like what something that you can have person do. The digital part is like new to me because I'm online like this more than I have ever been because of coronavirus. Like I was never like like this. Like I didn't have Discord until just like what, like I think November. It's like when I got Discord. I never like, so this current condition has had me online so much, and I've never really tried to build any kind of community online. This is all like new to me, you know.
Well, I think one of the things I think would be great is kind of pairing people up. I've never been in any of the anonymous programs. I know a little bit about them. I know they work really well. And frankly, I don't think you need to have, like, to be an alcoholic, or there's all these anonymous programs for all the various addictions, but there's no, I don't know, Humans Anonymous, right?
Mm, mhm,
you know um and I think having that, where you have a buddy, you have a buddy system, and you have mentors, and you have regular meetings, and so actually I think possibly just looking into that whole anonymous system. I don't know how much aware of it you are, and how much dealings you've had with it, but um
I've never
yeah,
been. I know of it. I know of people who have participated in it. So because of that, I have been able to see the book that they're giving with the
yeah.
12 steps. I've seen that. I don't know what I've never been to a meeting to know what it or anything like that to know what it's on like on the inside. Um, I do like the steps as I read them. They are very helpful.
Oh, and the alcoholic's prayer. Oh, that's just gold.
Yeah, I can't remember how it reads though. I remember like
Um, God give me the strength to change what I can, the grace to accept what I cannot, and the
mm,
wisdom to know the difference.
yeah. That's a good prayer.
Yeah, it's that's just gold right there.
Yeah, the
That's
strength
just
to change what
gold.
I can, the grace to know what I can't. No, the grace to
To
not
accept what I can,
accept what I can't. Yeah,
and
the
the
wisdom to
wisdom
know.
to know the difference. Yeah.
That itself is interesting because as I think about that, that is like the three pillars of masonry. Three pillars of
Wait,
masonry is wisdom, strength, and beauty.
okay.
So
Uh, faith, charity. Why was I thinking faith, charity, and
faith, hope, and charity is the three virtues
okay,
is the theological virtues, and
okay,
then the cardinal virtues are justice, prudence, um, fortitude, and temperance. So you got the seven, the three and the four make the seven, but the three pillars are wisdom, strength, and beauty, which will correspond to the principal officers.
okay.
Um, so like yeah, the strength to change what I can, the strength that's exactly the same. The grace to accept what I can't, that's more like beauty. Um, and I could see that being beauty too, because it's like it reminds me of this quote. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Chesterton, but it goes, um, in an adventure is an inconvenience rightly considered. Like so, so, so basically, that's like the beauty aspect of that. Like so, like the things you can't change, your attitude looks for the beauty in the cacophony, so to speak, or the like you look at it as an adventure rather than you know I forgot who said that. Let me see what the is it inconvenience rightly adventure inconvenience. Yeah, it was G.K. Chesterton. An adventure is only an inconvenience rightly considered. An inconvenience is only an adventure wrongly considered. That's what he said. So like that's like the beauty aspect to it to me. And then of course the wisdom to know the difference. That's exactly that as well. I like that quote, the Uncle AA prayer, serenity prayer.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list of the 12 steps programs. So, Alcoholics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Crystal Meth Anonymous,
Damn. Had never gotten to that one.
Debtors Anonymous, Emotions Anonymous. Not a big fan. Uh, Food Addicts Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Heroin Anonymous, Marijuana. Yeah, there's yeah, Pagans in Recovery.
Yeah, that's funny.
Under Earners Anonymous.
That's a funny one. Where do you see this list?
On Wikipedia.
I'm on 12-step program, or it might not be in one of my. Oh wait, let me do this. Let me go to alcoholic.
Yeah, just do 12-step programs.
Yeah, that's what I. Oh, it's still 12-step program, not programs. Let me see. Yeah, it's only giving me the one. Huh, it's weird.
Here, I'll
Yeah, link me.
link it to you.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I like that Under Earners Anonymous. You can even call it Underachievers Anonymous.
They have a Racists Anonymous.
Oh, they do. Racist Anonymous. I for some reason I do like Underachievers Anonymous.
Under earners, yeah. Well, we could do Woke Anonymous.
That's funny.
Marxist Anonymous. Yeah, let's do Marxist Anonymous.
Marxist Anonymous.
We could do Lobsters Anonymous.
Oh, that that would be funny. Yeah, that's a funny name. Lobsters. I'm gonna write those down.
Yeah, I was thinking like the Order of Knights Lobster, the Lobster Tank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But see, I don't want it to be explicitly Jordan
Right. Yeah.
Peterson related.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I want people who are involved with Jordan Peterson to easily be able to recognize that this is something that is congruent, right? That goes along with it. Because I think a lot of the rules that he has are good things. Like, so I was thinking, unfortunately, the way things are, there are these anti-racists, neo-racists, who will infiltrate anything and try to destroy it. And it's like, how do you keep these neo-racists out?
Mm.
Right?
Peterson is a good repellent.
He is, but I mean, I don't know if you were involved on the Discord server with yeah, it might have been before your time, for Eric Weinstein.
Mm-mm.
But a group of Wokarati actually joined the server in order to destroy it, and they were successful.
They joined Eric Weinstein's server in order to destroy it? That's crazy.
On a sabotage mission. Like, these people were organized and like came in as a group and like were wrecking stuff, and they wrecked it. They were successful in wrecking it.
Wow.
So that's part of the reason that I thought, having the initiation process, right? Getting to know people and having, the financial commitment and having, some sort of commitment towards honesty, camaraderie, charity, yeah, human dignity, human rights, um, the individual, right? And really being able to interrogate, like, when you meet somebody, you're like, okay, so why are you interested in joining a group that's um, that's dedicated to individual improvement, right? And if that person cannot honestly answer that,
Mm,
that's already, like what makes you interested in individual improvement, and like how have you demonstrated that, you know? And most people will be like, "Oh, well, I started listening to Jordan Peterson," and like, and then you can have a discussion with them, and you can see, you know, um, and I guess that's the big thing that we have over the Wokarati is they're not really able um, to express the other position. They don't
mm,
understand it well enough to
mm.
communicate it, even to mimic it, right? Especially because they just think a lot of us are just like racist, sexist, pigs,
Yeah.
and so like if they're trying to be us, all they know what to do is to be a jackass, you know?
Yeah. 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 It's unfortunate there's like this character, but I guess it serves its purpose as being able to delineate ourselves from them quite easily.
Mm.
That's yeah. Um now you're making me like think like because I got a couple books that I have like with ancient rituals that have passed into oblivion and ancient like Masonic adjacent stuff on these books that I have. I'm like, I could dip into some of those, come up with ideas.
Well, I mean, I want to kind of wait on that ritual aspect. I think the best thing to do is to find the minimum requirements that for people that we would want to be involved in, and then see how many people we can get involved from the people that we know,
Hmm.
and then kind of as a group start building that together, because um, it becomes a lot. It's it's very easy to spend a lot of time, at least for me, setting something up, right? And then when you actually start talking to other people about it, then a lot of what you thought is not what they thought, and or things that they're interested in. So like, I said I thought, some sort of martial arts thing would make sense. And you're like, that's not, you know. So I'm rethinking that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I would love for it to be the case. I don't know how, I haven't tested the water to see how many would.
you're a martial artist, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you recently got like some belts, didn't you?
I got some stripes on my belt and I won. I've been like winning every tournament basically. Yeah.
Dude, you're perfect.
Yeah.
You can lead us all. No, I mean, honestly, like I am the least physical person you've ever met in your life. Um, I like I haven't exercised in the past 5 years, but like, so I mean, I would definitely want it to be something I would be fine with, like a hike or just light stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that actually allows you. When I was going through high school, like I used to always get C's in PE. Like my GPA, if not for PE, would be so much higher.
Yeah.
I was always the kid who like, and now when I think back on it, I actually regret it the most. I
Mm.
think what I should have actually, because I didn't realize how important like team sports are,
Mm.
and and just physically getting becoming familiar with people, right? Just throwing a ball around, you know, um, play frisbee, whatever, right? It's it. We are a lot more embodied in our minds than I ever realized when I was young.
Mm,
I always thought, no, it's, for me, I was like, yeah, other people are involved in physical stuff. I'm more into the mental stuff, but I just think I was completely wrong with that. I really do.
yeah. I just, it was funny because as you're saying that, I just started thinking to myself what like Enneagram type you were. I was like, I wonder what Enneagram type he is.
Oh, that's the 1 through 8 thing.
1 through 9. Yeah.
1 through 9. I did that once. I'm an ENTJ, if that helps.
ENTJs, which ones are they usually? Let me see.
Extroverted,
Yeah.
knowledgeable, thoughtful, and judgmental.
Myers Briggs. Myers Briggs to Enneagram. Let me see. And you say ENTJ?
Yeah.
J. ENT. Hmm. So
It
this
doesn't
one,
map.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's no, it looks like you would either be ENTJ. Looks like you'd be like more like a type 8, which is the challenger.
Yeah, I think 8. I think that's why I remembered the number was 8. Was like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, 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 makes sense.
yeah,
The
yeah.
challenger. Okay.
I have no idea what that means about me. Does it
That
mean I'm a psychopath?
no, no, no. It just means that you're not afraid of conflict. You're more likely to stand up for the little guy kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's funny, like I've been trying to work on how, most people, I think when they talk to people, what they see is their similarities with other people. I position myself in terms of my differences with people. Like that's how I map myself with other people. Like, okay, how am I different? What do I disagree with this person about? And um a lot of people find that really confrontational and off-putting. And I understand that, but that's
Mm,
just, that's my when I'm disagreeing with someone, it's not, I don't find it, I actually find it kind of like a form of bonding, whereas people kind of think of it as like pushing them
oh,
away.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. That's how I kind of feel too. It's like a more of a form, like when you're disagreeing, it's more of a form of bond. That's why we were talking about that, doing the dozens and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
had that talk, and I was like, yeah, like that's the kind of thing that I'm used to, in intimate type of connections with people is that type of thing. I'm going to rib on you, do the dozens, etc. And
well, that's something that men used to do a lot more with each other,
yeah,
and it's kind of become forbidden, right? Because people think of it as bullying and stuff,
yeah,
right? And some people just don't know how to take it anymore. They don't understand that when you're ribbing them, you're actually kind of like they're part of the crew,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Know that they're a part of it. Yeah,
yeah, like when you can joke about somebody, it's like, okay, we're laughing together, we're friends.
right.
And for some people, it's like it's not. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's I like that. Yeah, so we could even, I mean, that could be a part of the community too. Is
The
that well? That's what
the
I was
joke,
saying. I was saying, what was that?
the joking, yes.
Yeah, joking like teasing each other and shit like that. I would definitely like to have that as part of it.
We could call the group the Dozens. Only,
Oh.
only people who know, people who know what playing the Dozens is can
That'd be
join.
funny. Yeah. Only people who know what it is. That'll be good.
I only learned it because in high school we read Their Eyes Were Watching God. I think that was the book. I used to read a lot of Zora Neale Hurston. I read a lot of Toni Morrison. Yeah, I read a lot of that stuff,
Toni
and that's
Morrison?
what?
Toni Morrison, you said? Is that
Yeah.
the self-help kind of like business guru dude?
Oh no, Toni Morrison. She writes fiction. She's what Zora Neale Hurston, Toni Morrison, and I'm forgetting the third woman are like the three big Black authors.
Mm.
What's now I can't remember who the other. I mean I can see her face. Um,
Okay, Zorno. Langston Hughes, Alice Walker, Claude McKay.
no, Maya Angelou.
Oh yeah. That's the most famous one that I know of.
Yeah, she's very famous these days, but Zora Neale Hurston was like a predecessor to Maya Angelou. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to read some of hers. I never read any of her stuff.
Yeah, I think Their Eyes Were Watching God is the one where it talks about yeah, by Zora Neale Hurston. That's the one that talks about playing the Dozens.
Huh.
Yeah, when I was in college, so I went to USC and I worked at the community relations department. So I was very involved in the Black community in Los Angeles. So I actually like, if people are from Los Angeles, like I can actually, I know things that they're like, you when did you go to Harold and Bell's? And I'm like, I've eaten at Harold and Bell's. I know where West Angeles Church is.
Yeah. That's cool because like Paul was like involved in like the Black community. Didn't he like have like a ministry of
I think that's part of look, there's a lot of white people who are scared that they're racist, and that's why they they crumble. Like if somebody calls you racist, they crumble, right?
right.
And they go along with this critical race theory. And I think people who actually have Black friends and actually know Black people, like when I see something like, did you see that that graphic that the Smithsonian put out
Mm-mm.
about white culture?
No.
I think I have this file on my computer. Let me find it because it was disgusting. Like you look at this file and it's like how could any human being think that that wasn't like this isn't the most racist thing in the world? I think this is it.
Oh, it's wrong.
That's wrong.
No. I was in the wrong folder. You asked me where I wanted to save it, and I couldn't save it to that folder.
Yeah, this is the file. And I saw this file and I'm like, F you. Like, how dare you? Because that's really offensive to like Black people. You're saying you're saying that being on time is a white thing? You're saying that rugged individualism, the scientific method, self-reliance, right? These are white things? F you, right?
Yeah.
Objective, rational, linear thinking. That's cause and effect relationships. Quantitative emphasis. These are all white things.
Oh,
F
this is
you.
good. I'm gonna do a TikTok on this.
Oh, this when this came out, this came out of the Smithsonian, right? This is a government organization, and they're supposedly being anti-racist. And it's like, if you know black people, you're like, how dare you? Right? But there are white people who are like, well, maybe this is, it's like,
Yeah.
and um that's why I think people like me and Paul are so anti this whole CRT thing. Like, um somebody was telling me um how, somebody very involved in like civil rights movement and stuff like that, and he's white, and like somebody who's known him his whole life accused him of like being a racist, and he's like, what what do you mean? Like, you've known me my whole life, right?
Mhm.
And the CRT thing, um it's it's just so crazy. It Yeah.
It's a yeah. I actually don't understand why that has so much power. It's confusing to me because
White guilt.
yeah, but like well, I guess the definition of racism has been changed too because like I'm having that debate with people on TikTok where they don't think that race-based prejudice is racism. They're like, that's not racism. I was like, what? Okay, so I was like, age-based prejudice is ageism, right? Sex-based prejudice is sexism, right?
Right.
So race-based prejudice is, and I went like that.
Okay, so this is the thing. The people who get involved in CRT, there's two types of people. There's white people who feel guilty, and there's black people who want to capitalize on
Mm,
white people feeling guilty. Okay? Those are the two types of people who get involved in this. I mean, obviously there's other people, but like those are the leaders. And like, I mean, I haven't read Robin DiAngelo's book. You know who she is?
yeah, yeah.
I haven't read her book, but I have heard enough people talk about her book that I trust, who are like, she's just projecting. She's just admitting she's a racist, and she thinks everybody else is a racist like she is. And it's like, no, lady, it's just you, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I've just seen so much of it. Like, the, a lot of these people, they honestly, they don't think black people can make it. They don't.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I I think that some of my from my perspective, like being kind of inside, I think that there's a lot of white people who think that black people are actually inferior, so that's why we have to like boost them up. And I think there are black people who also think that they're inferior, so that's why they're so sensitive to anything that looks like black people. Like people get mad when if I say anything criticizing the black community, and I'm like, um, should the black community have people who are critical against it? Like if you have zero people who are critical to the black community, that means that the community itself is inferior because a better community would have people who are in it criticizing it. Like part of the community being better is having people from the inside try to step out of it and be like, here's some things that I think we can improve on. If you don't have that, then it's
there's a lot of soft bigotry of low
yeah,
expectation.
yeah.
a lot of these people really don't think Black people are smart enough to actually make it in a fair environment. They really don't.
Right.
And there's it's sad. It
Yeah.
really is, because look, I I know really, really smart Black people, and it's like, no, there's something else going on here.
Yeah.
You because no, it's, you know, and I'm open to, because, you know, my whole life people have always said Jews are smarter than everybody else, right? And when I look at it, it's like, no, Jews, like Asians, have a culture of educate your kids early. Education is really important. No wonder we do better on the IQ tests. And if, I mean, I've been in the Black communities when I was going to USC. I lived there. I've always, since I was a little kid, I've always had Black friends, not in order to have Black friends, but,
Right.
you know, there were Black people around me, and I saw no reason not to be friends with them.
You know, it's funny. I always want to say this. I have a, like, one of the things I think of when people talk about white people being superior and stuff like that is one of the things that I think is a factor that if for some reason is not brought up is the points that were made in the documentary Guns, Germs, and Steel. And so, yeah, so basically it's like a theory that, like, and it makes sense. It's like the white people are more advanced because they started out in between like 20 degrees and 30 degrees latitude. So like basically like whoever starts in that latitude, it has the right conditions to where you can have farm animals that reproduce in areas where grass is grown, and like it's like a trifecta of like, so like basically anybody who had been in between these latitudes will be prosperous. And so they just hit the lottery with being born at the right latitude, and that allowed them to kind of advance. That makes sense to me. That
there are a lot of theories, and unfortunately, like, if we discuss them seriously, like, you can't put this video up.
oh
Right?
I don't think that's the only factor. I want to say
Right.
that. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I think there's more than that. But like, if
No,
part of the reason why it's not all luck, but there is some luck involved, for sure. And
there's selection. There's a reason. And Brett Weinstein says this all the time. Why is it that West Africans always win all the marathons? Right?
Yeah.
Why is it? Because there is such a thing as selection. You have a dog, I have a dog. We know that artificial selection makes differences. But if you actually know, I mean, if you actually know the history of the United States and you know the Black community, you're not 100% Black. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
You're you know, you're pretty light skin.
Yeah. No, I
like,
did my what you call it, not my 23andMe, the other one, Ancestry, and I know I have like French and German, all these different things. And
yeah, I mean, the American Black like has been mixed with European, so it's like, even if you're gonna do that, it's like there's so much like interbreeding. We're not, you know,
right.
we're not that different. We really are not, right? And I was really shocked. Have you seen a picture of Meghan Markle's mother?
No.
I did not realize how fast you can go from very dark skin to pretty light skin, right? Because Meghan Markle, she can pass for white.
I know, that's what the thing that's funny about that is, like, people were like talking about, I was like, if I seen this girl If I didn't say she was white, I would say she's some type of Hispanic or maybe possibly Middle Eastern, something like Lebanese or I don't know. But
And then look at a picture of her mother.
yeah, I know her
Picture of
mom
her mother.
definitely looks black.
Yeah, her mom would not pass. And the same thing in the Jewish name. Like I know Jews, they do not look Jewish at all.
Hmm.
Like either they're redheads, and actually being a redhead used to be in Europe thought to be a symbol of being Jewish, and it's not anymore. Like it used to be that
Um,
they thought
yep,
Jews
yep.
were all redheads.
This is the one thing. Okay, so since I actually have you on, you're Jewish. Okay, this is the one. So two things. One, so I have ideas that part of the reason why Jewish people are like advanced in education is the culture that they have, but also I have a suspicion that it's being able to read right left to right and right to left at the same time. I feel like that might be useful, like the direction like of like being able to read this way and that way. I feel like that could give a benefit.
Honestly, I think it's just the how young Jews teach their kids to read, because like at age 3, Jews start teaching their kids. It's just like a religious thing, right? At age 3, you start teaching your kid the alphabet. And I just think if you do that, the way neuroplasticity is, because
Mm,
if you look at a lot of these IQ tests, they talk about Ashkenazi versus Sephardic Jews,
right.
right? And when they did these tests, I'm Sephardic, right? They used to say that there's a big difference between Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews. But when the cultures came together more, because the Sephardic Jews were living in places, like my grandmother was living in a very rural place. She wasn't being taught how to read,
Right.
right? They didn't teach the girls and stuff like that. And like so when the culture changed, because the in Israel, Ashkenazi and Sephardi came together. Like in the beginning, it was very separate, but now like everybody's like intermarrying.
Right.
Um, and so I honestly think it's just the youth of teaching how early Jews teach their kids to read and write. And look, a Jewish house, like a prominent thing in a Jewish home is your library. Like having a shelf of books is considered like you have to have it.
Mm,
And if you don't come from a society that does that, right? And I think it's the same in East Asian society. And I think I really do think that's a lot of the gap there. Because look, um, people aren't going to like me saying this, but Clarence Thomas may be the greatest legal mind in human history.
oh yeah, the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court justice, his legal opinions, right? He he may be the greatest legal mind in history. Like you read his opinions, and like his the way he's changed like the judiciary in the United States with his with all of his clerks and stuff. Thomas Sowell, Glenn Lowry, John McWhorter,
Yeah.
these people they're genius level intellects,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
But honestly, it makes sense to me that the genius level intellects in the Black community are conservative, and they're the ones that the mainstream doesn't want to hear from, right? So we're used to listening to a bunch of Black people who are not that smart, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, no, no. It's you think like the people with three names. Do you listen to Glenn Lowry and John
Yeah, yeah,
McWhorter?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The blogging heads.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
I love them, and it has nothing to do with race. I listen to them because they're the smartest people on the internet, right? And they can say shit a lot of people can't. No,
Yeah.
seriously. But like, I get the idea that a lot of people like they're not used to like. I don't think Cornel West is that smart. I'm sorry, I don't think he is.
Right.
He talks pretty, right?
If I remember who Cornell was.
Cornel West, yeah, he's one of these old time,
Oh yeah, I remember it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It- he's just not that smart. Michael Eric Dyson, I'm sorry, but if you saw him like debating with Jordan
Oh, I
Peterson,
did. His word salad that he does.
it's word salad. Like
A comprominity of like what are you doing?
well, okay, I have to admit, like I have not caught him misusing a word yet.
Right. Yeah,
He
he
actually
hasn't.
knows the meaning of his words. When I catch people doing that, like Al Sharpton, he doesn't know what words he's using. You know,
I don't think I've caught Eric Dyson misusing one yet, but he just
I'm pretty
needs
sure I've
to.
caught Jesse Jackson misusing them too. Like these people, they're just not that smart. I'm sorry, right?
Was it, I just thought of somebody too. Because I like Coleman Hughes. Coleman Hughes is smart.
Oh, Coleman Hughes.
Yeah.
The thing about him is he's so young.
Yeah.
Like he's what 24?
Do you know Aisha Akambi?
I don't know.
Oh, you like her.
Recently, I started following this guy Camille. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
what his
Camille Foster. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Foster, that's it.
Yeah.
He's really up there too.
Camille
Yeah,
Foster is good.
yeah. I don't know what to think of Candace Owens.
I don't like Candace Owens. Honestly,
I
I don't
I
like
don't know what to think about her. She's smart and she's well spoken, but
I find her, I'll tell you, I find her disingenuous. Like,
that's it.
I,
No, that's it. And you know what? I I don't want to hate on her because there is this market for smart black conservative,
mm,
and I am not going to hate on a black woman who decides I am going to fulfill that role and be
right.
successful.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm fine with that too, but that's what I see her as, like somebody
I do too. Yeah.
who's fulfilling.
I do too. That's what I see. And it's like, you know what? I I think I'm fine with that. But I don't think she believes all the stuff that she says.
No, no, she
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, she it, another thing, see the thing that I don't that I pick up on, which is just a fact, that doesn't make sense, is that she was left, like, right, she was more left, and then she went all the way to the right, and when she was in both stages she was 100% agreement with the left to switch to 100% agreement with the right, and that's like literally impossible. How can you do that and actually be thinking? It's impossible.
Okay, so Glenn Lowry has done this. Like he's switched. Oh, Carol Swain, she's another one. If you don't know Carol Swain, she wrote an article like 20 years ago when she used to be on the left about how all this race stuff is coming down the line, and she saw it like 20 years ago. It's from like it's on Huffington Post or something, and I want to read her books because I don't think she's as well spoken as she's well written. Like
Mm,
some people they just
yeah.
write better than they speak, and also it might partially be she has the southern accent which
Mm.
makes it like I don't know, but like when you read her articles she's something else. She really like she's really smart. But with Candace Owens, she doesn't necessarily like if she's debating with someone and somebody catches her out, she can be caught out because she's not like a Thomas Sowell who has things thought out, or Larry
Mm,
Elder. You know
yeah.
Larry Elder.
Yeah, I know
Like,
Larry Elder.
there's a lot of really, and when I was when I first saw that 95% of African Americans vote Democrat, I was like, that's,
Yeah.
even like Jews are 80-20, right? Democrat, Republican. And that makes more sense because it's a religious group. To have a racial group be that much
Yeah.
on one side, it did not make sense to me. And I started looking more into it, and the more I look into it, honestly, I think 20, 30, 40 years ago, the black media, and like I worked in media, so I know like I worked with the Los Angeles Sentinel. I know what the black media environment's like, right? It was it seems that it was captured to the degree that people just were not, like, the Republicans were not reaching out to the black community. They still don't. They still completely fail to reach out to the black community. And it's like, I would be shocked if even 20% of black Americans knew that the Democrats still have not apologized for being pro-slavery.
Right.
They still have not apologized, not once. I've looked it up. It's like, at what point, and like, the Republican Party is constantly being told to apologize, and they're like, yeah, we apologize for all our racist shit, which good, I'm glad. But why aren't the Republicans making the Democrats apologize for all their racist shit? And they had a lot more
Oh yeah.
racist shit, right?
Well, for Bill Clinton passed DOMA. That
Right.
was
Oh
Bill,
yeah,
and then
but but
and
the
then
gay community is completely cracking.
yeah.
Like, I'm not even joking. I wore my MAGA hat in West Hollywood. I got one comment, nice hat.
Hmm.
Not even joking. Yes, there are, like, they did a poll. One of these, I think it was one of these gay dating apps or something. They did a poll who you're voting for. 50% of gay white men were voting for Trump. And do you know why? A lot of gay men feel that this whole trans thing is making gay boys
Oh,
seem
transit.
to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
girls.
You know,
There's and they're afraid to say that.
they're cracking up because a lot of people who are queer, or people who are saying that gender isn't real, and that sex isn't real, they're destroying the people who are trying to be trans because they have to say that it is real in order to transition. So like this is a real defined thing. This is a real defined thing.
I see it. So I'm an insurance agent, right? And I have a lot of trans clients. I have this little side business of helping trans people get health insurance. And like, a lot of these insurance companies are trying to get out of, they're trying to, this demedicalization. So, oh, well, you don't need therapy. You don't need all this stuff. You can, and it's like, no, 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 no. They need to see a psychiatrist, and you need to pay for their psychiatrist.
Right. Yeah.
That's not how it works. Um, and that really bothers me. And there's a lot, like, I was I was I don't I wasn't surprised that Biden won, but I knew that the idea that he was going to win in a landslide was complete BS.
Yeah.
Because look, I work in the Hispanic community. I I live in Los Angeles. More than half of my clients do not speak English. I speak to them in Spanish, and there are a lot of Hispanic, like the Hispanic vote majorly shifted. Like it wasn't majority Republican, but it shifted a lot
Mm.
towards Trump. Because one of the things I was offended, somebody told me the only way you can apply for a refugee status in the United States is to show up illegally. And it's like, really, is that so? You're saying that to me, who came to the United States as a I got political asylum, right? I was a refugee, and in order to become a refugee, my mom, my sister, and I were living in a hotel room in Turkey for 6 months with, like, my mom had no idea how long it would take. She only had the money with her,
Hmm.
right? Um, until our application um, got processed. And then after we were accepted into a refugee program, we spent another 2 months in Italy before we got a visa to come to the United States,
Hmm.
right? And so you're telling me that no, what my mom should have done is skip
Yeah.
the line and just come here without a visa. That's what you're telling me. That's the only way, right? And I actually have family right now who are trying to get visas to come to the United States, and they're trying to do it legally, right? So when you tell me that the only way to immigrate to the United States is illegally, these people are jumping in line ahead of my family, right?
Right.
Because we're not criminals, right?
Right. Right.
Because we decided to come here legally. And my dad came like a month or two after my mom did. And when he found out that my mom had gotten, like, they had told us that because you're a refugee, you get food stamps and stuff. And like when my dad arrived here, he's like, no, go give it back.
Mm. Wow.
Because he's like, no, 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 that's we're not doing that. Um, you know, and it's and so a lot of people, and the Democrats, they will not differentiate between legal and illegal immigrants. And that's why, like, Beverly Hills, the Trump rallies, it was all immigrants. Like it was
Mm.
90% immigrants, Hispanic immigrants, Persian immigrants, because, like, it's offensive to tell me that there's no difference between a legal and an illegal immigrant. I came here legally,
Right.
right? I went through the process. It was a difficult process. I have family going through the process. It's a difficult process. My clients, a lot of them, some of them have illegal family and some of them came here legally. And the people who came here legally, they're like, we did it the hard way because that's the right
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I knew Trump had a much bigger percentage of the Black vote, of the Hispanic vote, of the Jewish vote, of the gay vote, of the lesbian vote than the Democrats. And that's what the exit polls showed. Biden won because he got a larger percentage of the white male vote.
Mm. Yeah. And I think that was, it's funny because when I listened to the campaign of Biden, one of the best snippets of his campaign that I heard, I think it said the word safe like 30 times in it. And so basically, I was like, oh my God, this is actually really good because what they're doing is they're pitching him as the safe bet, which is basically the card that you have, like these non-threatening, safe. Like they were like, no, we want a safe America, safe, safe. They said safe. I was like, that is how they're gonna get that. That is what they're gonna go for to get a strong voting base of people who are like, your average white persons, people who are scared, because Joe Biden does have a presence that is kind of non-threatening, but also, I want to say, impotent or whatever, like but like just non
Docile,
what was that?
docile.
Docile, yeah, like docile. He has that type of demeanor towards him. I was like, okay, so that I see how that could work. Um, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, Donald Trump, I don't know why he switched up his campaign, because his campaign for the first time was way better, and his campaign for the second time was like it was like I think he
Look,
thought he was gonna win it so easily, or I don't know what the hell reason why he switched it up.
I think part of it was this time around he was surrounded by so many people, and frankly, I think a lot of the Republicans wanted him to lose.
Mm, that's a good amount of way.
I don't think Mitch McConnell is sad that Donald Trump lost, right? Um, I think a lot of the Republicans wanted him to lose, and look, he made a lot of mistakes. If why wasn't that Durham investigation finished? It still isn't finished, right? Why didn't that report come out? Why wasn't why didn't he, when he first got in there, right? Why didn't he push to make sure that, like, Twitter and Facebook, and I was personally censored during this election. So this whole voter fraud thing, I think the reason why so many people think there was voter fraud, I personally don't think there was more voter fraud than there always
Right.
is. I don't think it's a fair election because I was censored. You can't tell me that you can censor me, that I, that I can't speak, I can't be involved in this election, and then expect me to feel like this was a fair election.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people, they feel that, but they don't know how to articulate it.
Right.
And Donald Trump did a horrible job of articulating it. No,
Yeah.
honestly, like this whole stop the steal shit, right? What he should have been talking about is the censorship and everything that went along with it.
And critical race theory. You should have
The suppressive, and why did he only do the critical race theory thing like 6 months or less than
yeah.
6 months before the election,
And he
right?
didn't hammer on it either. He didn't really hammer on it.
Why did he not do all this stuff when he got in? So it's like, I'm actually, I there are people talking about him running in 2024. I don't see an alternative, but I would prefer somebody else, because I no, I think he's too old.
Mm.
I don't think he knows. I would much rather Tucker Carlson. Do you listen to Tucker
I
Carlson?
don't listen. I don't listen. I've watched some of his stuff, but
He's the only news show I even bother with, because and his book Ship of Fools really changed my mind on a lot of things, because I used to think when people would say that the Democrats are and I know you got to go soon, when people would say that the Democratic Party has stopped being a left party and they're not leftist enough and stuff like that, I was like, what are you talking about? But then I read Tucker's book and I thought about it more, and it's like, yeah, we don't have a genuine left wing party anymore in this country. We have this quasi Republican Democratic Party establishment, which is the party of the rich people.
mm,
And it's like, hey, I like rich people as much as the next guy, but somebody needs to talk on behalf of people, like the Black community wants school choice. That's a huge issue in the Black community. The Democrats are not fighting for school choice. So why are Black Americans voting for people who will not do what? And you saw what happened. What was his name? Ice Cube.
Oh yeah. They got on him for reaching out
For
to
even talking
yeah,
to people. And he was straight up. He's like, I will talk to whichever politician will give me what I need.
right.
And that's how you need to do it.
Yeah,
If you're gonna play politics, right? You need to be like, you know what? You give me what I want, I will vote for you. You do not give me what I want, I will vote for the person who will,
right.
right? And it's like they tried to destroy him.
Yeah. I know I remember
Uh,
seeing that interview. That was funny how they came at him.
50 Cent, the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I just hope, and this idea that Kamala Harris is just like supposed to get the black vote just because she's black. I'm sorry, but like that's the most racist thing I ever heard, right?
Yeah.
If she actually did something for the community, right? I have the same idea. Like people, I don't care if you're born Jewish. I care if you actually are a member of the community, right? And you
Yeah.
actually care about the people in the community, and
Right.
that's just completely different.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta
Uh
go.
yeah, I gotta go because we gotta put all this stuff in the car and grab the ingredients so I can start making the food for them. But
Next time
yeah.
you gotta invite me. I'll drive out.
Yeah, well, I mean, stop by when you're on your way for the fishing trip for sure,
I
and
will.
we'll get together. But thanks for that. Yeah, we'll talk some more. We'll have another session.
Sounds good.
All right,
Okay.
you take
Talk to
care.
you later.
Bye.